Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, 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 wow. Welcome to the working week.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Minimum wage. Yeah!
91.3 and the Working Lunch. I'm Jeff Turgeon, and I am the Executive Director over at the Central Massachusetts Workforce Investment Board. I am joined by my co-host, Sean McGauley. Sean is actually helping work the board today.
Yeah,
Sean?
new spot on the board here. Bob's helping me out. I think I'll be transitioning to this position. So if you all of a sudden hear dead air or people at TVC smoke coming out of the machines, I'm the reason for
You're
it.
the, and you're being trained by our very own producer extraordinaire, Bob Zukowski.
Yes, I am.
And so for folks that are listening in on the radio that can't see this, Sean's back is to the camera, and he's facing me. Usually we sit side by side, so we have a whole
This
new
is a
arrangement
lot of
here.
eye contact here.
Yes. But you know what? We also have a very festive studio here today.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, there's balloons, there's munchies, there's different things, and it's a membership drive here at WCUW. It is community radio.
Yep.
And so it's a member-driven organization, and they do such a great job. And I know I've always found it great to be a member, and feel like I'm really contributing to the betterment of the entertainment options in our community by having local community radio, right?
Yeah, and there's some wonderful programs. I know some of the ones that top the list as far as viewer-wise or listener-wise, Working Lunch.
That Working Lunch
Top
show,
up
yeah,
there, top
exactly,
of the list.
Yeah. But
Polka
there's so many
Party.
yeah. There's so many. I mean, if you like, especially those genres that maybe don't get a lot of airtime in the traditional, for-profit radio stations. There's a great jazz show. Bob does a great jazz show. Right? Polka show. But there's also a great jazz show reggae, a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and if folks at home are interested in donating, they can call the studio line here, which is 508-753-2284. So again, that's 508-753-2284. And help keep these wonderful programs
And
on the
certainly
air.
they can donate any amount. I believe the suggested donation for membership is $40. So we'd love to have you make a pledge there today to support not only the Working Lunch, but the community radio in general here at WCUW. Again, 508-753-2284. I'm using my 508-753-2284 is the number to call.
Celebrity pledge drive member,
That's right.
Jeff Turgeon.
See,
I just would like to read this piece here
Sure.
too. The WCUW Fall Fund Drive is on, and we need to raise a modest $15,000 to keep this microphone on through the coming months. Fortunately, I don't have to raise all that money, but we need to do our fair share.
all right. That was read with all the fluency and flow of a hostage video or something. That was. I have heard better from you, Mr. McGauley.
Yeah, it wasn't my best, but I'm nervous to be on the board
You're on the
here.
board.
I've got a
You got
lot
a
of
lot going
things.
on.
Got to keep your microphone from coming in hot. There's a lot of responsibility over here. I think we take Bob for
Okay,
granted.
we're going to take a break in about 15 minutes or so, and you can retry it. And this time we want to let it just kind of flow naturally.
Maybe
right?
use the radio voice. The radio
I'm
voice.
Sean McGauley, and you're listening for. No, see, we want to make it flow, right?
Yeah. Maybe I'll come up with my own pitch.
You see what it is? I think with the desk between us,
The barrier.
I can like mock you now.
Oh.
There's a barrier there. So at any rate, got a lot going on as usual at the Career Center. One of the things that we've always prided ourselves on in Central Massachusetts is the great services that we offer to veterans.
Yep.
So we're going to bring them in. Come
Bring
on
'em on
in,
in.
Tom. We have Tom Forhan. He's the Disabled Veterans Outreach Specialist, right?
Tom, we can get this
Workforce
microphone right
Central.
here for you.
So Tom, this is thanks for being with us.
Welcome,
Thank you,
Tom.
Jeff.
And this is a great time to have you on here because we've recently been announced that there's a state incentive award that goes out to programs that serve veterans throughout the Career Center network. There's 33 career centers, and so the services in our region here in Central Massachusetts have been designated for providing outstanding services to veterans.
It's the equivalent of Career Center of the Year for Veteran Services,
Wow.
Workforce Central.
And this is not the first time.
Absolutely not.
I believe
Won't be the last either.
Exactly. Well, you and your team over there. You want to talk about some of the folks you work with that provide veteran services?
Absolutely. There's two vet reps right in the Front Street location, myself and Mr. Bill Ryan. We also have representatives in Milford, Larry Corbin, and Southbridge, Diane Ramsey as well. And it really, although it's Veteran Services Award, it is a Career Center Award.
Yeah.
It literally recognizes all the services provided by the complete staff. Not,
Well, I know
not
you've
just
got a great. Your team is obviously works very hard, but you're also surrounded by a lot of other Career Center folks that understand, the real value there to serving
we
veterans.
have half, the staff with us, but really it's the business service folks, it's the job developers, it's the management team that supports the efforts because there is a lot of outreach involved.
So tell me, if you're a veteran that's out there listening, what's some of the services that the Career Center can provide?
It's the complete back to work series of how can we help you get to where you want to go. It's not one boilerplate for veterans. There's multiple issues that we look at, including their own veteran benefits, veterans preference, providing priority of service to the vets. That are out
So
there.
obviously, if they want some help at putting their resume together, some help looking at a good. A lot of it too, I imagine, is how does their skills and the training that they've got under their belt from the military translate to the.
Certainly a lot of transportable skills. That's what we look at, and they don't realize it at the time because it's in military terms.
Yeah.
Any squad leader, that's supervisory skills, management skills, and they have to be able to translate all of that. And the fortunate part, Jeff, so we mentioned the staff that's here. We are nationally trained and certified to do what we do. I am a professional certified resume writer. We can help them with those documents, their cover letters, even just that translation from military speak to civilian speak.
Well, I know there's a very strong, track record of services there. Like we mentioned, not only the award this year, but multiple years, and just a great job of getting veterans kind of back into the groove with civilian life in general, and certainly employment is a huge factor in that. Are there any community partners that you work with?
We work with. We have the Central Mass Veteran Service Providers Coalition.
Wow.
15 local area groups that we meet on a quarterly basis.
Now, is that unusual in our region?
Oh, it is the first in the state, and it's probably the largest coalition of veteran providing service that combine all of our resources to help individual veterans.
Yeah. So you're able to sit across the table and talk about what you're seeing and how folks might be able to help meet any challenges.
Absolutely. For those individuals that may have
Who's
significant
some of the
barriers.
partners on that?
Veterans Inc., which is our homeless veterans providers, Vet Central, which is a counseling service that we have, our SAVE team, which helps veterans in crisis.
So just a great,
Yeah, we have legal support individuals, jail diversion programs,
Well, that's
provide us
great.
on.
That's great. And now I know the other thing too is you're seeing a range of veterans. You've got folks that come in that are folks obviously from
recently
Vietnam,
separated, right?
Vietnam, right through
Yeah.
Gulf War One, and now the latest
Had one
wars in
u-
Afghanistan and Iraq.
I had one the other day, literally one day out of the military, and probably the biggest group that we're seeing now that is still growing, female veterans. We're seeing a lot more female veterans, and rightfully so. It's the single largest growing a population, and helping them navigate through this maze as well.
What's the biggest challenge you think vets tend to face when they come in and they sit down with you?
Well, I think is understanding how they can use those skills that they've learned in a civilian world. They honestly do not realize that some of those, and they're such sought-after traits by employers. Again, they're there on time. They're there day
we
after
often
day.
hear about how employers kind of lament, like, man, if we could only, we don't mind doing a bit of training on the job, but we want to hire someone that with those great people skills or great work skills or
Teamwork.
And so teamwork and
Everything they
communication
do
and
is in teamwork.
How to understand, how to kind of follow a plan and build a plan.
Oh yeah,
right?
training right from the very beginning. Everything plan your work and work your plan.
Yeah.
doing
Now, do
those
you
types of-
notice a big difference in outlook or challenges faced by like older vets that come to you that maybe from the Vietnam era versus
They do. I mean,
know,
they
folks
look
getting
at
out
it's certainly a lot more friendlier veteran environment than it was back in the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
Just the political climate and the social climate is so much more thankful and rewarding for veterans. It's the simple thanking them for their service is unbelievable because some of them have never heard it until the last 5 to 10 years.
Sure.
And that does give them renewed of identifying with their veteran status because things do change over the time. They're always a veteran. And those veteran benefits they may have put aside for a while, now it's time to bring those out and use those preferences.
So for any vets that are out there, what's the best way to get in touch with you or Bill or Larry or Diane?
Oh, come to the Career Centers, call the Career Center. It's posted on our website, all of our
So
contact
really, Workforce
information.
Central.
Oh, yeah.
And online,
Yeah.
it's Workforce Central.
Yeah.
MA is in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And they can schedule. They would basically just schedule a regular orientation and
Yeah,
let
yeah,
them know though
yeah.
when they come that they're a veteran.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that they
just
can help
identify
connect you.
themselves and they'll get steered in our direction. There's hyperlinks right on the homepage, Workforce Central homepage for veteran services.
Well, I'll tell you, it's exciting
Yeah.
to see, that the hard work that you and the others are putting in is being recognized. And obviously, on behalf of those vets that you serve, thank you for all that you guys do, because it really does help to get folks back on their feet and make our economy stronger as well.
Well, Jeff, thank you. And it really is an honor and a privilege to work with these individuals.
Yeah.
Is that individual one-on-one, helping them, we say it a lot, for protecting me and mine while I was protecting you and yours.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things. Before we let you go, can you talk a little bit about your specific position deals with disabled veterans?
Yeah.
And
We-
so
yeah.
I imagine, boy, there's just a whole added level when for challenges and services, right?
We are nationally trained and certified to work with individuals to provide more intensive services. We call it they may have more significant barriers to employment. And helping them understand, one-on-one individual attention to work through those barriers, to eliminate them.
What's your message to employers that are out there? I'd imagine that while kind of in theory, they're like an amazing group to work with, like as far as employers, like who better to help, give a helping hand than a disabled veteran. On the other hand, I imagine there's a bit of hesitancy when it comes to actually kind of getting involved because they might be fearful about working with the disabled population or fearful about vets that come in and kind of what's their capability with their disabled. So
It's a lot because they don't realize all the different, when they look at several individuals, their disabilities may or may not be apparent.
Yeah.
And it may not be a barrier to their employment at all.
Right.
And these are the type of things they use that veteran to look at it and say, understand that some of those reservations people may have regarding would they be redeployed again, or any of those types. They're really not issues. They're
certainly
issues.
when you see some of the folks that are on the mend, so to speak, and dealing with the challenge, especially the folks that you kind of have more visible challenges, maybe an amputee or what, and just seeing how motivated they are to succeed, to get back out there and to kind of maximize their talents, to see the motivation and desire and the effort that they're putting in. It's hard not to be inspired by it. Right?
They want to prove to you that they can do it, and they will do it.
That
won't
must
be-
just inspire you to get up every morning too, right? To be working with folks like that. And to-
We tell them they won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
You give them the opportunity.
I mean, I hate to say this, but sometimes, right? I think some of the staff at the Career Center that work with maybe long-term unemployed, they work with a lot of very depressed people.
yeah.
And not to say that that's out, but I imagine too there's a significant number of vets that do come in just ready to, real motivated to show you that they can do it and demonstrate to the world that they're ready. And so, in some ways that must be inspiring for you as a staff person where, maybe if you're working with I know some of the problems that we have at the Career Center, quite frankly, are keeping staff motivated when you're always dealing with people that come to you with such challenges and come to you with their own attitude kind of problems and their own kind of, when you're dealing with people that have very, very difficult circumstances that kind of reflect that in their attitude. And then, so when you're working with You know, is that-
We have to look at it. We try to encourage and coach them to look at it through the employer's eyes.
Yeah.
You know, it says when you're sitting there talking with somebody, if you were the employer and this was a conversation or the presentation, that you are, and what message would that send?
So just that chance to get to sit with you guys,
yeah.
to run
Yeah.
kind of scenarios by and to chat about how it works and really just some great honest feedback from someone that's worked a lot with others and has seen what's successful and what approach kind of works, and it must be a big help for them as well.
And believe it or not, sometimes it's small factors. It's language. Again, it's acronyms. Getting away from that military speak. Sometimes that they become so comfortable with that we understand that, but the employee sitting there may or may not. We try to keep everybody focused on the employer's aspect of their veteran status.
So, again, I want to thank you for being here, Tom Forhan. Speaking with Tom Forhan, the Disabled Veterans Outreach Specialist at Workforce Central.
Both Billy and I.
Before we let you go, we do have a game that we play with all our guests. Now, if you get this correct, there is a prize involved.
Oh.
It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful portfolio bag donated by Penta Communications.
We'd like to think of it as a lunch bag, though.
That's right. It's
You could carry your lunch in it.
you can tote your lunch around, right? As well as other valuables or whatever,
Valuable lunch?
or other things, what have you.
Yeah,
right?
whatever.
So,
There's no rules to that tote bag.
I'm trying to think if there were any rules, like maybe some sort of toxic. But we'll go with no rules.
No rules. For
No
Tom,
rules.
for Tom, no rules.
No rules for you, sir. So you can tote around whatever. So it is a beautiful looking bag. We have it back in the office. We're running a bit late, so with all that's going on, we didn't bring it with us. That's not saying we don't think you're going to win. Okay. But if
The
you
expectations have been set.
win, all right. So we're going to talk about a celebrity, and you're going to tell us. We're going to give you 3 choices on what their first job was, and you're going to tell us which one's the real one. Okay, so the celebrity is Ray
Romano.
Morano. You didn't see, it's not on the form.
Oh, I thought you knew who Ray was. There's a picture of him on the back. You
I'm
can show-
gonna Ray Morano. Yeah, this guy. You know this guy?
You know that guy.
All right.
Tom
this
knows
guy.
him. What? I give some shows he's been on. Everybody
He's
loves
been on-
Raymond.
Everyone loves Raymond.
Ice Age movies.
That's right. He was in the Ice Age movie.
He's the voice,
Yeah.
I can't let this opportunity to not give my Ray Morano.
Please do it.
Ray Morano. Yeah. Deborah. You do a very good one. Come on, let's hear it.
Deborah.
Hello, Raymond. So you get the gist of who we're talking about. All right. So his first job, was he a teller at a local bank chain? Was he a pistachio picker at a farm in Southern California? Or a golf cart valet at a prestigious country club in Valencia, California? So, bank teller, pistachio picker, golf cart valet.
I got him as a bank teller.
Bank teller.
Yeah.
Sean, is that...
We got a winner.
We got
a
winner. So you've got a beautiful Penta Communications bag, again, courtesy of Penta Communications, that we'll be getting for you when you get back to the office.
I'll be at your door.
I was going to say, it might be magically waiting for you.
Interoffice mail.
So Tom Forhan, he's the Disabled Outreach, Veterans Outreach Specialist at Workforce Central. Thanks again for coming on and for all the great work that you're doing, and on the award that you received.
Congratulations.
For services to veterans at the Career Center at Workforce Central. So
Well, thank you, Jeff. And again, it is a pleasure and an honor, and it's certainly nice to come here and, see what all of you do here for community radio and into the community, obviously.
Sure.
And I wish you well on your fundraiser. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, so we are gonna take a break, and Sean, you're
I'm
ready
gonna
to
try
go?
this again. Yep.
Okay, here we go.
The I've already left. WCUW Fall Fund Drive is on, and we need to raise a modest $15,000 to keep this microphone on through the coming months. Fortunately, I don't have to raise all that money on my own, but we do need help, and that. That's all I got.
I almost wonder if we don't need
But
the
I'd
dulcet
I don't,
tones
re-
of
you know,
Bob Zukowski
I'd
in
rather
there.
do my.
You know,
yeah,
next
Bob
week we're
should
gonna
do
see
it.
how Bob does it because he's got a bit. He's a veteran.
You know, I don't
He's a
like the
veteran.
constraints of have to read from the. I'd rather do it on my own. You know, I just want to remind our listeners out there that you can donate to help keep programs like the Working Lunch on by phone. You can call 508-753-2284. You can also donate by mail by mailing a check made payable to WCUW. And you can send that to 910 Main Street, Worcester, Mass.
Oh, that's very good.
You can also donate on the web at www.wcuw.org. And make sure to mention the Working Lunch as your favorite program.
Well, that is very well done, sir.
See,
Is
he's
he?
doing a real good job.
There's the voice of radio.
He's doing the good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray Morano. I may be talking like that. Now it's kind of stuck in my
okay.
head, right? I think it's going to be. And I got this guy looking at me, so.
Great picture
That's
right
good.
there.
All right, so. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we did have. It's time for
A new segment, right?
a new segment. Well, no, I think it's time for the mailbag.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm looking for my phone. I'm scrambling away here because I think the intro to this segment is on my phone,
And where is your
and
phone?
I've lost my phone.
Big question.
You can tell this
my
is
car,
live.
It's in the car. Well,
You-
do you want to just do it?
You can tell.
Mailbag.
Well, thank you for that intro. So every month we like to sift through the mailbags, sift through the countless emails, and try and pull out one to answer some questions from job seekers or our listeners. And this month we have one from Sonia from Worcester. And Sonia says, "Hey guys, I've been out of work for a while now. I've gone to a bunch of interviews and taken a bunch of workshops at the Career Center, but I just can't seem to find a job. Any advice?" So I talked to some of the job counselors upstairs, and they pointed me, they actually gave me this flyer for a new program that we're piloting at the Career Center. Actually, first time in the United States, the Bounce program. And I think, Jeff, I mean, we've talked a little bit about the program here on the show a couple times before for youth, but now we're offering it for adult job seekers. And it's a little bit different. Instead of a workshop, it's more of a course.
Correct. It's going to be a 2-week course. It's 20 hours per week, so 40-hour class. And really, what it does is it gives participants an opportunity to really take a breath and really think about what's important to them and important to what they want to get out of not only their career but also life, and how does their career goals kind of impact their life. So really
Different.
yeah, it's they walk you through exercises to really pinpoint that. And then from there, how do you line up things and how do you work on the skills needed to get there? And so it kind of puts those pieces in place. A big part of it is around workplace communication.
Yep.
And again, it's not just communication in the workplace, so I'm almost giving it short shrift by saying that. It really is very high level skills on interpersonal skills. So not just going to help you in the workplace, but also in life in general.
Yeah, so something
It's
for
an
job
amazing-
seekers.
Yeah, it's an amazing new program that we're bringing here. It's award-winning. It's from Australia, and so we're so excited. So we're doing an information session for participants.
This
They do need to this Friday at 1:30 to talk about what the 2-week program is. The 2-week program itself, I believe, begins October 6th.
Okay.
But people need to register for the information session before they come down.
And
that's
contact the Career Center? to
that's
do that?
correct.
The number is 508-799-1600.
And extension
601.
601.
Yep.
So really encourage folks to come and take advantage of that. I'm looking at Bob, our former colleague at the WIB. We're also inviting board members to meet Maria and staff to meet Maria at a luncheon this Friday. So I'll have to get with you and let you know about that, see if you're available. I'd love to have you come down and
I had an opportunity to meet Maria the last time she was
Yeah.
in. Was it last fall?
about that, yeah. Or winter, actually.
Winter.
Yeah.
Because it was kickoff for the
the Youth Works, yeah.
Youth Works program.
So it'd be
Excellent
great
program.
to have you reconnect and have you come out and chat if you're available.
And Maria is the founder and CEO of the Bounce program?
Yes, the founder and CEO of that program, and again, we're the first community in the country to be offering this program. So, Tom had mentioned some of the uniqueness of what we're doing with vets. This is another unique program that we've established. Just really, we're
Big things happening here.
yeah, we're kind of a pointe de lance, as they say, right? We're tip of the spear here when it comes to workforce development.
And when folks feel confident about themselves, then they can put that foot
Well,
forward.
exactly.
And even in the workforce, they can become champions of what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Making a great impression,
great
developing those
impression,
communication,
customer
and then
service.
knowing where you're going in life too.
Yeah,
That's
and
another big
customer
one.
service and all of that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And we just got back, of course, from WDW, our annual trip with the family and grandkids.
Oh,
and that is a
WDW being what? Are we not allowed to say it
Walt-
on the radio?
We can, Walt Disney World.
You just said it.
I just said it.
Was there any beefs
But-
or anything? That,
No.
so
but
you went to Disney World, known for their customer service.
Definitely customer service. They're all on, and you never see any of their employees or their cast members have a bad day. They're there to please everyone, and they go beyond what the.
Which makes you wonder how they so consistent with it, right? Because they've got
Yep.
thousands and thousands of employees,
Yes.
and like you said, not one of them seems to be interacting with the public, which to me is outstanding. Just an amazing kind of, So there must be some. I mean, I know they do a lot of management training. They do a lot of research too
Yes.
into how to provide customer service and customer satisfaction. It is an amazing, from an organizational standpoint, an amazing thing.
Thousands of employees
Yeah.
out there doing their thing. And one thing I really noticed, there was a cast member that was off
Off
duty. And
Now I'm picturing in my head a guy in a Daffy Duck or
No,
Donald. What was it,
I
Donald
was
Duck?
too, holding the head, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's got
Smoking
he's
a
smoking a
cigarette.
cigarette at the side, like and then he
Nope.
sees you and he's like, oh, and he like puts it out and he's just
No,
puts it,
this-
hi, how are ya? You know what I mean?
no, this was a cast member, and it was downtown Disney.
Yeah.
And most likely going out to the car. And she was off duty and was a member of probably one of the food service areas
Yeah.
and noticed a couple of pieces of paper over in the bushes and went into the bushes and picked up the
So
paper.
again, just
The papers.
wasn't her
And-
job. They've got people that clean up the park
Yep.
like 24/7, right? And yet she saw it, and hey, that's part of that's part of who we are as Disney workers.
Yes.
It's part of my job description to keep this place looking great.
And they do.
Yeah, they do.
And they do.
So good time with the family.
Yes. Great time with the family.
I'm
Always.
not gonna let Disney off the hook though. I
All
gotta
right.
be honest. I'm not a huge Disney fan.
Okay.
Ooh.
Here's why. You go
Yeah.
right. It's a pretty expensive proposition.
Yes, it is.
Okay. No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Fabulous customer service.
Yep.
I don't know what they can do about this, but I'm waiting in line for like 45 minutes to an hour for a 5-minute ride, and then I get out, and then I go maybe wait in line for half an hour to get something to eat.
Fast pass.
Okay, but even with Fast Pass, so now it's like you've created this 2-tier of the have and have-nots, right? So I kind of feel bad going ahead of the line if I get the Fast Pass. That's just who I am, I guess. But it's kind of like we've created this. It kind of throws it in your face. You're too poor to get a Fast
The
Pass.
classes
But-
of Disney
The
World.
classes of Disney is a very
Yes.
classist
But everyone has access to the Fast Pass.
without money.
Well, you pay to get into the park.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, but you don't
actually-
get a free Fast Pass though.
They do
Yes,
have a free
the
app
Fast
you
Pass.
can download.
Fast
now,
passes
right?
are free.
I thought the Fast Pass you pay extra for.
No.
That's at like Six Flags, I think.
Well, Disney, I owe you an apology. I'm
No.
gonna give my ire to Six Flags instead. So Fast Passes are free.
Yes.
So that's their attempt to get around this line issue.
They've also developed a pretty smart app where so everybody wears a bracelet when they go in. So
the band,
and
the
you can-
magical band.
You can check on the app to see where the crowds are. So Splash Mountain.
So they're doing what they can.
yeah.
Yes.
There's still a lot of waiting involved.
And there's also, depending on the time of year you go.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you, you believe in the free market system, right?
Yes, I do.
A fairly conservative free market capitalist.
Yes.
Some enterprising people down there, you may have heard the story, right?
Yeah.
They said, well, you don't get any line if you're disabled or with someone who's disabled.
Yes.
So they said, hey, they put it out there. My kid has a disability. Rent me and my kid, or rent my kid, I guess, and he'll go with you, and you can get on all the rides without waiting in line, right? In your mind, is that just good capitalism? Is there?
I don't know what they've done with that.
Well, what they
When-
actually did was they put a stop to it. You have to
Yeah.
legitimately be with that family and not.
Yes.
I guess it's they were able to do it, but I'm not quite sure on what basis.
Well, I think there are entrepreneurs out there,
Yeah.
in whatever way they can make a
buck,
buck.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're
And I
trying
guess,
to do
hey,
it.
if you're a disabled kid, not a bad gig. You're getting paid. You get to go on Disney rides, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't know, but kind of an interesting how people work, right? Like you said, there's always someone out there looking to get ahead, even if it may be
Oh, yes.
cutting some corners there, right?
Yes.
What an interesting. I heard that story and I was like, wow, what an interesting thing. And I did not hire any of the kids.
You did not hire
I
them.
just put a fake cast on my kid's
Yes.
leg.
Ah.
I felt
Hide snacks in it.
hide snack.
Bring
You
your
get
own
to hide the
snacks in.
snacks there. I figure, what's it's a small price to pay for him, a little bit of immobility for a day of getting on all the rides.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Of course,
Smart
I did
parenting
not
move.
do that.
No, of
Of course, I
you
did
didn't.
not do that.
You would not.
But it is an amazing place. I just wish there was a Turgeon Pass where I get to just walk on any of the rides, right?
Yes.
And I guess part of my reason, let me just say, going back, why I had such a bad experience there was because I waited like 45 minutes to an hour, and then I sat on It's a Small World.
Yes.
Is that your favorite ride or something?
No, we avoid that one.
Yeah, you can see why, right?
It's a small world after all. Goes back to the 1964 World's Fair in New York when it was on Long Island, and that was the first time Disney had that
That ride.
He disassembled it and put it into storage, and then when Disney World, they put it there.
Amazing vision to bring Disney World into being in Disneyland,
Yep.
into being,
Yep.
At Walt Disney.
Now, we did spend time at the Kennedy Space Center Museum.
Oh, wow. Okay, I've never been there.
And it's interesting. It's almost like a Disney park
Huh.
with the
Is that a
setup of the
national
whole.
park or is that a private museum?
I think it's a national
A
park.
national park, yeah, it makes
National
sense.
park. It's set up. So as you're exiting each of the areas, guess what you're going through? A gift shop.
Yes.
Yes.
And I imagine some amazing historical.
Yeah. The best thing was you get on a bus and they take you out to where the launches take place.
Wow.
And how they're preparing for the 2017 launch that's going to be taking place.
What's launching?
Something that is going to Mars, I believe.
I think that's the title of it. It's not
Something
like the
that
Gemini.
something going to Mars.
Going to Mars.
Something going to Mars.
And the flight something going to Mars is taking
Yep.
off in T-8.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. So I'm glad you had a great trip.
Yes. Excellent.
Weather was good.
Warm.
Yeah, it gets
Too warm. February is a better time.
Okay, well
All
we're
right.
gonna
We
pivot from that. I'm glad
digressed
to
a
hear.
little
Yeah,
bit,
we
didn't
digress. But you know what? I'm always up for chatting
Yeah.
about fun stuff like that.
And while Bob was having fun in the sun with Disney, Jeff, the Workforce Central was working on the Uncommon Job Fair.
That's right. Why don't you talk?
When's
a little bit
that coming
about
up?
Well, it just
We
happened.
just had it.
Yeah, it just happened. So
Jeff
Sean?
was cooking the hot dogs. I think there was a lot of complaints about burnt hot dogs, but we had a great afternoon. What do we have? 80 employers there, Jeff? 80
Yeah,
employers?
over 80 employees.
And close to 800 job seekers also attended that. So it's a little bit more of a casual event where you do see people in suits, but you also see some people in polos. And it's an outdoor event. We serve lunch.
It was a beautiful day.
Great day.
So an awesome opportunity for employers to chat with job seekers and vice versa in a more casual setting. We also gave out free hot dogs to
Yeah.
participants, and Frito-Lay donated snack bags as well. Polar came out; they were sampling some of their great drinks.
A lot of private sector support, so it's a great event, and we have some audio from that. We have Janice Weeks, who's the new director of Workforce Central, talking about the event. We also have a quick interview with a job seeker and one of the employers. So
I don't know if you need help to run the board for this, or
I'm
if
going to
you've
try
got it
that.
ready to go.
See if we get to it.
We're having our second annual Uncommon Job Fair on the Worcester Common, and we've doubled the number of participating employers from last year to this year. So this year we're at 80. Very excited about that. That speaks to their experience last year. It also speaks to the economy, so we're excited. You know, the employers came out with not a whole lot of pushing and priming, and the job seekers are here as well. Folks really appreciate an opportunity to come and meet with folks face to face versus now there are a lot of online applications, and then also, you know, you have to get dressed, get in your car or other transportation to get to an employer. So this presents an opportunity, especially for job seekers, to hit a number of different employers at one time in one location, so they're able to maximize their time and hopefully maximize the benefits of their investment.
Hello, ladies of Savvy Staffing. Welcome to Workforce Central's second annual Uncommon Job Fair.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
Awesome. So tell us, what are your first impressions of today's event here on the Worcester Common?
I'm amazed at the quality of people that have come through. The resumes are fabulous. There's been a nice diversity of people, and we're going to be very busy next week calling everybody back. It's been unbelievable.
Yes,
a great
awesome
experience.
Thank you, Robin. What about you, Erica?
Well, this is actually my first year attending this event. I'm usually doing all the back end of things, and I think it's wonderful. We've really got to know a lot of people, a lot of companies. Like Robin said, we've seen a lot of different candidates, different levels of people, and it's really going to help us with our recruiting and trying to really help people place them at jobs.
Would you guys want to give us an example of what are some types of clients that Savvy Staffing might staff for?
Well, Savvy Staffing actually has many different divisions. We have a light industrial division, we have medical, we have professional, we have clerical, we have medical. So we really do, we do a lot of different things. So, you know, all of our branches and divisions operate the same. We have our applicants come in, interview with the recruiters, and and then we try to match them with our clients. But we have many different clients, going from light industrial to medical.
And that's why this job fair was such a great success for our team and our company, is because of the diversity of people that have come through.
Wrapping up, you guys, thank you so much for speaking with us. First of all, I did want to just ask you, in the age of staffing firms, where sometimes job seekers might have a negative impression or a tough, maybe have a bad rap because maybe they're not connecting directly to the employer. Would you like to speak on behalf of staffing firms and tell us why staffing is really a hiring model today and why people shouldn't be afraid of working with staffing companies?
I think staffing should be more of an advantage to companies. I think that they can really pick and choose what they're looking for. It gives them the opportunity of meeting different people as opposed to just one person. And they get people like us, like Robin and I. We love what we do. We care for our clients. We care for our applicants.
It's relationship building, all in all. And it starts from the company to every single temporary employee we send to them. So it's just huge relationships.
Yeah, I think it's more
all
of an
around,
advantage.
and that's huge for them, because time is money. They don't have a lot of time to do what we do with our recruiters, and that is by first meeting them and then bringing them in for the application, in the processes we do, and then we kind of weed them out and send the top ones, whatever's best just for them, and go from there. It saves them a lot of time.
So why'd you guys come out here today?
Well, we were interested in all the companies, and we got resumes and tried to get a perfect job, and something up our alley, like me, criminal justice. So they had the Department of Corrections, Securities here.
I came today because I'm a job developer. I help people with disabilities find employment opportunities. I work for Community Health Link here in Worcester, and my role here is just to really develop relationships with employers to facilitate opportunities for people who are looking for work.
Great. Now, a lot of people I've heard said that the job fair is dead. No one comes to job fairs anymore. What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
False.
This is a way to get connected to all the companies, corporations in the community that are hiring. And this is a great place to go,
It's worth your time.
Yeah, and it's a good turnout, as you see.
Lots of people. If you don't shoot, I feel like they put a bunch of employers in one area. It's a good chance for people to get entry-level positions, network, and I think it's great for the community.
Good. So you feel like your time's been well spent today?
Yes, absolutely.
So I hope I never see you guys again because you get your jobs.
Yes.
And you'll never have to come back.
Yes. Awesome. And come to Worcester for the community job fair. Absolutely, come to Worcester.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. So a great event.
Great event.
Exciting, good weather.
And very creative.
Very creative.
I
yeah.
do think we need to give kudos to John McCarthy, the business
Yep.
service representative. Did a lot of work on this along with a lot of other staff. Janice Weeks, of course, the director over at Workforce Central, but and Amy Mosier and the rest of the business services team.
Yeah.
But I know that John had attended a job fair similar to this out in like Western Mass, I think in Holyoke,
yeah.
and kind of was the key driving force a couple years ago of bringing this idea.
Yeah. He saw a vision on
to
Worcester Common,
our to the leadership. Yeah, he saw the vision
and last year we did it as our first event and we had 40 employers.
And
this
very
year
successful.
we doubled it.
Yeah, and we
80
doubled it.
employers. I mean,
And I
there
think
was
we're-
people all on the Common. We had up on the kind of the upper portion up near City Hall, and a successful event.
So it's good to see that growth. And segueing from that, there's a story that caught my eye in the New York Times the other day. That it was by a writer, Neil Irwin, and the title is "You Can't Feed a Family with GDP." Now, for those that don't know, GDP is a measure of the overall economy and the growth of the economy. So, gross domestic product. So it's basically the grand sum, if you will, of output for our nation, and where is that at? So that would include, not only income and salaries, but also products, services, all kind of ties into this. So it's a big picture number, to be sure, but if GDP is growing, that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Your economy is growing. So GDP has actually grown since the early 90s about 40%. Sounds good, and it is good. Unfortunately, after about 1999, the median income, so median income being where people are, 50% of people make more, 50% of people make less, is actually down from 1999 levels adjusted for inflation. So GDP has risen 40%, and median income is actually down. Okay? And so if you look at that, you kind of say, so again, the article titled, "You Can't Feed a Family with GDP." So the average, I should say the median household income right now, $51,939. It doesn't sound too bad. Again, that's 50% above, 50% live below that.
Right.
And that's household income. Did you have a question, Sean?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are those stats? Are they usually relational, GDP and household income? They trend together.
For decades, they tracked together, and that's kind of the author's point too. Is they always tracked very closely together.
Yeah.
And in 1999, I think, is when one went down and the other continued to grow. So and he kind of talks about what might be behind it. Might be there's kind of a confluence of issues, right? You've got outsourcing that kind of ramped up. You've got outsourcing, the company's still making product.
Yep.
And making profit, but workers, jobs and stuff might not be here. You also had declining union membership and power to negotiate higher wages, which doesn't only affect necessarily union members per se, but also others that are in that same industry. Because if the unions are able to bargain for a higher wage, that tends to increase the wages overall in that industry. So then you have kind of that breakaway from certain sectors like financial services, where you've got executives making very high amounts, and the average workers in those companies not so much. So there's kind of a confluence of factors there. But I'm gonna quote the author Neil Irwin again. This is from the New York Times. But there's really no mystery as to why public opinion has been persistently down on the quality of the economy for years. You can't eat GDP. You can't live in a rising stock market. You can't give your kids a better life because your company's CEO was able to give himself a big raise. So, where the rubber meets the road, measures of whether the economy is working for the mass of Americans is median real income and related measures of how much money is making its way into their pockets, and then what can they in turn buy with that money. So obviously, a view that the author takes, very sharply against. Again, this speaks to the rising inequality in our society, and the feeling that in order to get the economy growing for the most people, you need to kind of build it from the middle out. You need to have a demand side model where people have more money in their pockets to go out and buy things, and then in turn people have to make things and sell things and all that. It drives it's the engine for the economy. It's the virtuous cycle, if you will. But what we've seen is, in fact, GDP has grown while median income hasn't. So, an interesting, again, I would like to invite people to go to the New York Times. They could use the Google to
the World Wide Web
to Google New York Times. You can't feed a family with GDP.
Interesting stuff, Jeff.
Yeah.
So I think we should take a quick break to, again, we're pledge drive here at WCUW.
Yep.
And again, folks can donate on the phone by calling the studio line, which is 508-753-2284. They can also donate by mail by sending a check to WCUW at 910 Main Street, Worcester, Mass. And they can also donate on the web at www.wcuw.org. And be sure to mention the working lunch.
There you go. Very well done. Boy, you've really, just from the start of the show till now.
Come a long way.
The improvement, the trend line on your
trending up.
Trending up.
So we got a new segment now.
That's right, we do. Are you ready? And we actually
I'm ready to
go. There was a fan going there. I don't know if folks at home probably couldn't hear that because it was off the microphone.
White noise.
It was noise. It was rattling around my ear there. So we have a new segment, and let's play the opening to that.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown.
Nope. Mr. Pop.
I don't know why you don't take me downtown, like you got anywhere better to be.
Will I see you tonight on a downtown train? Nope.
And now it's time for another edition of Downtown with Ethan Brown.
So Ethan Brown here with the Center Director for Grafton Job Corps, Mark Riolo. We're here celebrating the 50th anniversary of Job Corps. Mark, tell me a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing today.
Well, Ethan, we're going to hold a ceremony that's supposed to begin around 10 o'clock this morning. We're going to have some dignitaries, former students, and then employers that are working closely with us say a few words about Job Corps and the impact that Job Corps is making in the local and state communities. We'll be moving outside, planting a tree in commemoration of the event, and also unveiling a small memorial in the ground that references the 50th anniversary. And along those lines, we're also holding things on center here within the center to involve students. There's a video that's been put out by the National Office of Job Corps that we're showing getting out and participating in volunteer activities and just trying to make the whole month a commemorative event related to the 50th.
That sounds really, really good, Mark. Thank you so much for your time.
Excellent.
So that's Ethan Brown, Downtown
What
with
a
Ethan
segment,
Brown.
yeah.
That's a great new segment we're hoping to roll out. He's
new employee at the workforce at the WIB, the WIB office.
That's right. It might be
He's
him
our new
calling in right
resource.
now. So it's great to get him involved
Who did that
in the
intro?
show.
Who did that intro? That's
producers extraordinaire, huh?
did a great job on that.
Yeah.
So-
I don't know if you noticed this. The music referenced downtown in all of the.
I did catch that.
Did you catch that?
So that segment, Ethan's going to be talking to downtown businesses, some new
Yes.
businesses.
Well,
and
it's downtown with Ethan Brown, but he doesn't have to exclusively be downtown, but
he can travel.
he can travel as he did out to the Grafton Job Corps.
Yeah.
So a big tribute. That's great.
50 years. Hard to believe,
years.
right?
It's a great program.
And you've got a background in Grafton.
I do.
Job Corps.
I had worked with those folks for several years. Not necessarily just with the Grafton Job Corps, but with the Department of Labor, who works with the Grafton Job Corps. And I actually had a chance to work with Mark, the Senate director, out there on a number of different projects.
Yeah, seems like a great guy.
Oh, a great guy, great leader.
And he's fairly new in that position, or
fairly new at the Grafton Job Corps. He was working at other Job Corps centers and kind of rising up through the ranks, and really does a great job with the program over there. For folks that haven't checked out Job Corps maybe in a few years, it really has the program's come a long way.
Yeah.
From its infancy 50 years ago. Boy, 50 years ago. A lot going on. A lot different world back then.
Yeah.
You know who started the program?
Who's that?
Sergeant Shriver.
Ah.
Yeah, one of the right. He's an amazing, Sergeant Shriver. Bob, why don't you have a seat here? Sergeant Shriver is an amazing guy. Along with Job Corps, he also had a hand in starting Head Start, and then of course Special Olympics.
Yes, definitely.
An amazing family, amazing public servant.
On the phone was an old friend of yours,
Oh,
Eddie Gardella.
Oh, and does he have his? He does a lot of, speaking of fundraising.
Speaking of fundraising, it'd be interesting to have a conversation with Eddie. Have him come in sometime.
Of course,
And,
the former longtime chief of police.
Chief of police in the city of Worcester, but
he also does a lot for cancer research now. as a
Cancer research
survivor.
right now, right, and also his past. Between teaching and you should find out where he
we
started
should.
his career at some point.
Well,
You gotta have him on.
Yeah, we'll have to have him come on. Maybe we could time it in advance of. I know he does a big fundraiser for cancer research, and I should mention too.
The Jimmy Fund, he had his event early September, and he's raised tens of thousands
done
of
a lot of
dollars
good things,
for the Jimmy Fund.
He does a lot
Great
of
guy.
and a long time community supporter too.
Yep.
Great guy to have. out there.
Between stage
And also a bit of
Stage-
acting. I was just going to say.
stage and
wasn't
radio.
What was
so
that?
he was acting chief of police, and I think he turned a few heads with this. He actually, the community was putting on a West Side Story. right?
West Side Story.
And so they were hiring local kids to be part of the. And he
West-
actually volunteered to be in the show as Officer Glumke. Is that?
I think so. Yes.
What a memory.
That was a few years ago.
Yeah,
And I think it was
that was a pretty bold, pretty bold thing to do to get out there.
How'd you do?
Yeah.
Do we have any footage of that, or?
I bet he does.
Yeah, I don't, I heard positive things, but
Yep, he's good.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Of course, Well, no, what was that for?
Whenever you start a sentence with, of course,
You
you're
think something-
you're always thinking of something that's a complete lie.
Whoa.
Or
What were you gonna
profound,
say?
or profound thought. Yeah, you're not far from the truth. I was just going to say, when he was on stage, it would have been an opportunity for criminal masterminds to
Okay.
to try to.
Yes.
So at any rate, so a lot going on in the community. The Uncommon Job Fair, the
Yep.
50th anniversary of Job Corps, and there's plenty of other stuff happening. I do think you also wanted to talk about something that came across your desk that you thought was interesting.
Yeah. Often at the Career Center, a lot of people get jobs. It's what we help people do. And I came across this 8 things new employees should never do.
These are things they should never
do. So the top one, any guess?
Maybe calling your boss a liar. Would that be Bob? Do you think that is on the list?
Not on the list, but it should be.
Should be.
You got to wait a couple
One of
months
10.
before
Yeah,
you can do that.
go on radio to do that, right?
Asking for vacation time right up front.
Up
so
front,
a lot, a lot of times as a new employee, you should wait. I think maybe at least a year. A lot of times you have to wait for your vacation time to actually accrue. So, that's a
Bob,
good
have you
thing
ever
about-
done that?
Yes.
Right up front?
Right up
Oh,
front.
by the way,
I have booked X, Y, and
yeah, I
Z.
think when they offer you the job, you have a window to maybe do it before
Right,
you
can-
accept the
you,
job.
You should notify them of any vacations
Yeah.
you've already had planned.
before
any
and
type
make that
of
part
prior
of the hiring.
commitments.
Yeah, make that part of the hiring offer. But once you get on board, you shouldn't just out of the blue. Yeah, good point.
Number 2, I think, goes forever. Complaining to your coworkers about your new boss.
Oh yeah, that's
You know, you never want to do that. I think it's always bad for
because
them.
and among other things, you don't know their relationship, right? You don't know whom you could necessarily kind of form that kind of trust with. You know, I mean, it'd be easy enough for them to turn to the boss.
Oh, right.
'Cause you don't know. Yeah, it could be someone's brother for all you know, right? I mean, you
Right,
don't necessarily know who they are and what their relationship is.
So don't do it as a new employee. Don't do it as an old employee. Bad form.
Probably shouldn't shouldn't.
Just don't do it. Bad mouthing your old boss to your new boss.
Now that one's a little. I don't see why not. Like I don't see. I agree with it. I'm just saying.
I think it paints you in a picture that okay, this guy's talking bad about his old boss. What's he think about me?
Me, yeah, that's a good point.
Or this girl.
Bob, you ever do that?
Nope, not at all.
No,
No,
when you
I
haven't.
haven't. I'm just watching the time. And
We've got a few minutes left, right?
just
We got to run
letting
through the
Sean,
8. Okay.
Sean know that
Yeah, I'll be.
our exit tune will be coming up in the background for us in about
Well, Sean's
40
working the board,
seconds.
so I don't know about that.
40 seconds.
All right,
That's
so
why
let's
I
run through the list.
reminded him.
We're
'cause
running through
he's-
the list here. Taking
right.
long lunches before you know the lunch culture of your new office.
Lunch culture, very, very
So
important.
if it's something people
Might have to
just
take a working
work
lunch.
through, yeah. Smart. Pushing the envelope on business expenses.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
you never
true.
want to just go out and order
That's
all
something you
sorts
should have
of
a
food on
talk
the-
with your boss or your finance department about how they, is there a guide or something?
Using body humor.
Okay.
So that might
we're
be
gonna
an
leave it
HR
on.
thing.
Yes, we're gonna leave it on that note. So we have successfully managed to complete another show and add that to the archive. And I want to thank, of course, the folks at Cable Services for coming down. Sean behind the camera today doing a great job.
Nothing blew up today. So I
And
think
Sean behind our Sean behind the board here. So, Bob, thanks for not only coming out and helping us, but also
Teaching.
training the next. Yeah. Reaching down
Trial
the
by
next
fire
stage.
today.
So, do we have the exit song?
Yeah, it's playing. We can actually I can go through the last two if you'd like.
While it's playing, sure, let's do that.
Spending time on Facebook and other social media sites. So unless that's part of your job, it's probably not a good idea to be on there.
Yeah.
And then the 8th one is calling in sick during your first month, unless it's truly dire. So you don't want to set that precedent right off the bat that this guy calls out a lot. Calls out a lot.
Again, kind of sets a bad tone for who you are as a work and your work readiness and all that.
So another great show.
Another great
Thanks
show.
everybody for listening and watching. Don't forget to pledge your donation to WCUW.
Join us and become a member today.
Yeah.
And don't forget, October has 5 Wednesdays, so we'll be on the 22nd.
Excellent.
It's
Good
the
enough. Like a
fourth
freak month, right?
fourth Wednesday of
5
each month.
Wednesdays.
Fourth Wednesday of each month.
Now I can't even afford to get a gun.